Aloha, Rich Halverson here. This is ITS227. And in this video, I'm going to continue in Chapter 7, covering Section 7.8 on JavaScript Object Notation, JSON. So this is very important because this is the form in which you pass data back and forth between the browser and this web server, and a JSON object can represent anything. Okay, it does the same thing as XML does. We used to use XML all the time, but XML can be inefficient because XML uses notation like HTML, and a lot of the a lot of the tags have to have ending tags and so on. It takes up a lot of characters. So JSON is a much better way to do it. It's pretty simple. There are six data types in JSON. There's the string type, there's a number, there's an object, and an object is something that's got name value pairs enclosed in braces. Okay, it's got name value pairs enclosed in braces. So like this is an object because it's got name value pairs. The name field is Joe, the age field is 35, enclosed in brackets. It can be an array, and it can be an array of JSON values, which means an array is enclosed in square brackets. So like this is an array right here. It's got two JSON objects in it. It's got a number JSON object, and it's got a string JSON object. But arrays can also have objects, okay? And just like up here in objects, this is a value, a JSON value. Objects can have arrays as values. So because of this recursive definition, you can represent pretty much anything. So then there's a Boolean value, which is true or false, and then there's a null value, which represents nothing. So here's an example of a JSON structure. We've got it's an object. Object has six properties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we see that the second one is an actual array. It's an array. And it's an array of objects. There's two objects in this array. There is one there's one object that's got 3 properties, and another one's got 3. And known associates is also an array. It's an empty array, and so on. So as you can see, JSON structures are very flexible. Now, there's 2 methods that you use with JSON objects. One is to take what you get as a string, like this. Let's say this whole thing is a string. Let's say this whole thing is a string. It takes that string and converts it into an object that where you can reference the items, the name value pairs in the object. So where you can actually use the dot notation. Okay, so it's a big string. It's a string. Let's say it's this whole string, and it's a string, so it's not a JSON. It's just a string. But then you do this parse method on it, and it converts it into an object where this object is actually the object is gonna be an array. And it's going to be an array of these other objects here. There's 3 of them in there, and there's the first element of the array has got a name field and a type field and so on. So that's parsing. That's going from the string to the actual object where you can reference each of the fields, the values, name value pairs. And then there is the stringify, which does the opposite. It takes an object and converts it into this nice long string that you can send to somebody, or you can display it on the screen and everything. It's got the curly braces and the quotes and everything. And it's just a string. It's just text. So you can go in both directions. Parse takes the string and converts it into something you can use in your program. And stringify takes that JSON object that you were using in your program and converts it into a string, which you can display out or send to somebody else, and somebody else can take it and parse it, use it. There's also here they recommend when you're when you're defining these when you're defining an object, say in JSON notation, you should use single quotes because it's easier. Because then if you use double quotes, then you have to escape the double quotes inside, and so on. It gets humbug. So here's an example. Let this is going to be a string. See, it's a quote. It's quotes here, and that's the string. And then displays it out, and it displays it out like this. It's nice and convenient like that. And then we're going to do this. We're going to do this parse function, JSON.parse on the string, and so then we get this object. And now we can refer to the elements inside. You notice that this object has a name field. It's got an age field, and so this is how you reference the name field. You bond obj.name. And so here we're printing out the word happy birthday, and then comma, and then the name. This one's name is James. And then, okay, and then we can go back. Let's say we add 1 to the age here. Take the age, add 1. And then we stringify it again. It means turning it back into a string. And then lo and behold, look here, when we display it out, we see that the age is 36. All right, there's some extra, here shows you, go through this to make sure you can do it. Okay, so now there's some options you can use with these parse and stringify functions. Parse has a reviver function, which is going to be like the second argument when you use the parse. It's a function. And then also stringify has got well, I'll get to that one. That's got a couple other ones. So it's got a anyway, so let's see. And so reviver function, and then on the, this is for parsing using the reviver function. And then there's also extending JSON. The two stringify functions are, and they don't bold them here. There's a replacer function. There's a replacer and a spacer. Okay, so in parse there's a reviver function, and in stringify there's a replacer and or a spacer. Okay, and the reviver function, you can specify a name, a particular name, a key, like a key from key value pair, a key, and then and then it will replace the key, or we will replace the value for that key with something, the result of the function. So if you want to convert, if you want to parse a date, a string that's got a date, or that's got, let's say it's got a number in it, an age. It's got an age in it, and you want to parse it, but you want to add 5 years to that age. You can do it using a reviver function. Why would you ever want to do it? I don't know. I have trouble coming up with examples of when you use a reviver function. I personally don't use them, but it's there. And then for stringify, you are taking an object and you are turning it into a string. Well, you may not need all of the key value pairs of the object. So by a spacer, you can by a replacer, you can filter them. For a spacer, you can, when you're outputting, you when you want to pretty print, as they say, pretty print the JSON object, you know, with all the indentation and stuff, the spacer thing will specify, will designate what character to use as a spacer tag. Most often it's a space, but it could be periods or something to make it look better. All right, so so now we'll see some examples of these. So let's look at the reviver function and the parse function in the parse. The reviver function in the parse here. So let's say you have some data here, and you have a date field, which is going to be a date object. It's a new date object, and you print it out. It's going to look like this object. It's going to look like that. And then you're going to stringify the data. So then it's just going to turn into this thing that looks like that. This is the string. This is the string. And then let's parse it and parse it back to the date. And so this is what it looks like when you take this and you parse it back into an object. The object, the display of the object is going to look like this, but it's an object where you can actually access the date field. And then let's try this reviver function here. We're going to take when the date, we're going to take the date, and we're going to return a brand new date. And a brand new date. Oh, we're going to return. We're going to replace the date string. This is the date string right here. We're going to replace it with an actual date object. And so we're going to put a function in there, and we're going to be looking for the date key. When K is key and B is value. We're looking for the key of date, and if we come across the key of date, then we're going to return this instead, which is a date object, which is based on V. V is going to be the field right here. It's string. It's a string field which represents a date. So we're converting the string into an actual object. Anyway, so that's an example of the function of the reviver function. So as you're parsing the JSON string and converting it into an object, if you want to mess with one of the key value pairs, if you want to change the value of a particular key value pair, then you can use this function, look for the key, the K for key, and then change the value, return a new value. All right, so just make sure you understand that. Okay, so let's do this. So let's start this up. Let me go to my other thing here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assign JSON object. We're going to assign this value, this variable, a JSON object with the properties name and age and siblings. And we're just going to put anything for a name, put anything for an age, and put anything for an array of siblings. So let's just say we've already we've already said we've already created the instance JSON object, so I can just say JSON object equals, and I can just say it's an object, and there's going to be a name, and it's going to be I can say it's Joe Schmo, and then I do it's a colon, and then I do it. They're separated by commas, comma, and I do an age. Oh, I gotta do it, of course. Age, colon, 45, comma, and then we have student, quote, student siblings is an array of name, I don't know, Malia, Lisa. How did I? And then I can close the object definition and put a semicolon. Will that work? This has got to be the same as this. All right. Very good. Okay, what's next? Assign a JSON object with the parsed value. Okay, so let JSON object equal JSON parse of string structure. Then assign 30 to the points property in JSON object. So then go JSON object dot points. That's this. It's not going to equal 26 anymore. By gosh, it's going to equal 30. Okay, assign 30. And then assign string structure with, then go back and assign string structure equal to JSON stringify. What a weird word. This thing again. Close semicolon. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. Very good. What's next? Use the reviver function to add 5 to the year and assign JSON with the result, JSON object with result. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm going to say, let JSON object equal JSON parse, and I want to JSON parse the string structure. And then I want to do this function, this reviver function. So I say function, and I'm going to be looking at the key and the value. And if, and I'm going to say if k equals year, then year, add 5 to it, right? 5, semicolon, close. I wonder if I need this. I mean, some languages you need to put this in PHP, you need to put the semicolon there. You might not need to put the semicolon there in JavaScript. You probably don't, but I'm going to put there anyway, because it's okay. And that's the end of the function. And then I think that's the end of this. This would be the end of the parse statement. So JSON object is going to equal string structure except for key value 5, or for key of the year, for the year key, add 5 to the year. Oh, do I got to return something? I think I got to return that. I think I have to return this. Return year plus 5. See if that works. Year is not defined. Because I should probably say string structure year. Year is not defined. This is string structure year. Oh no, it's not year. It's not year. It's V. That's what I gotta put there. V. Because year is gonna be this. Key is gonna be year, and V is gonna be 2011. It's the 2011 that I want to add 5 to. Oh. I did something. JSON object. JSON parse. Let JSON object equal. This, the end of this. Oh, do I need to put a semicolon in that? Oh. All right, stop being so fancy here. Let's put this down here. Let's put this like this. And K equals year. Yeah, I'm trying to do it like this. Oh, otherwise I got to return B. Oops, I didn't do if it's not the case. Yeah, okay, so let me just go back now. I get back. Okay, so if K equals year, do that. All right. K equals year, do that. Otherwise, return B. Otherwise, don't do anything, just send B back. Semicolon. Doesn't. Why isn't it lining up? I don't know why it's not lining up. All right, so this. Oh, I need an end to that, don't I? This probably doesn't look like it makes too much sense to you, but this. This one matches this one. This one matches this one, and this one. Now I tell you what, I can take this out. Let me just do this. Yeah, that works. Well, anyways, this work? Yeah, okay, good. Well, you can make sure those line up for you. All right, number 4, use the replacer function. That's not the reviver, that's the replacer. We only want some of them. So we use string object, copy, let string object equal JSON. We're doing the stringify, and it's going to be of JSON structure, except for we're just going to want to see hour and minute. That's all we want to see. How's that? Okay. Number 5, use the spacer function to use 6 consecutive underscores for indentation. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're going to use replacer, and that's the actual, that's actually the third argument. And so I'm going to say, send the results of the console. So I guess I can do console log JSON stringify JSON structure comma, and then there's nothing for the the filtering function or whatever that previous thing was called. Replacer function. Okay, there's nothing for replacer function, but there is for the indentation. So we want the indentation to be 6 underscores. So can I just do this? Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Will that work? Got to close. Close the log. Right, close the log. Okay, then I go to single. All right, is this right? It works. See, nice. Okay, that's 7.8, and in chapter 7, let's look at the right chapter. So we've done 7.8, and next is 7.9. So I will end this video and do one more. Thanks for watching.